8,000, negative is what I was looking for. Number 2 is greater than. We haven't did the test that. Well, well, that's a mistake. Ooh. Just about that chapter 10. Put it in with all the junk. I have a grade for you. I don't know where it is offhand, because this is the paper that's come back. You didn't have to take it with you. Did you stick around and get it graded? Well, what's the deal with it? I've got it somewhere. I thought you took around and got it. Yeah, maybe you did. All right. Negative 8,000 greater than 13, negative 13. 4A is 2 and 1/6. 4B is negative 10. 4C is negative 28. 4D is negative 9. That's the one we got. 4E is 4. 4F is negative 7. 4G is negative 63. 4H is negative 1/8. Turns out to be negative 324. I is negative 9. J is negative 9/10. And K was 4 and 5/16. Or 2 and 5/16.
So if it's 3/24,
3/24 reduced to 1/8.
so if I have,
And it should be negative. Which one? You got A. You must be. Although I see a negative sign now. And then a negative 2. Very little tiny one. I'll put that one. Okay. So that's one. And there's 2, 3, and R. Okay? The C means it's red. Anything else? Gotta be careful with some of those. 4D, you gotta watch that. But I'm not gonna get into an argument with it today, but you gotta remember that that is negative 9, and that is positive 9. On G, where it says 1 plus negative 8 squared like that, remember what is that? That's not really negative 8, that's the negative of 8 squared. So that's 1 plus negative 64, which is negative 63. So those are the two you gotta watch out for. Alright, you put this here. Any questions on chapter 10 so far? Chapter 10 test. So really are just giving you a hard time. The test that they sent home with you. Simplify on 2A. 1F. 1F. Simplify the expression. What do you have as like terms? None are like? What, X2 negative X3? How many terms do you have here? 5. And there's none of them I like? Part E? Negative X3 and 3X3 look like to me. So how, what is that? Alright, so this one and this one look alike to me. And what do you do with like terms? Add them or subtract them, right? So you can combine these two somehow, and you can combine these two somehow, and then whatever's left. Okay, take it ahead. Yes, no, maybe? Well, then I guess we're down to the final review. Don't forget to hand in your chapter 10 test before you leave. You don't have to jump into it now, but
I'm going to, so don't forget.
unless you forget, yes. And I'll remind you. Hopefully I'll remember to remind you. All right. So now we go to the final review. Final review has some fun stuff with it.
So just a question, are we gonna be able to use my phone?
Yes. In fact, we'll use this. Okay.
Did you get a copy straight from them to the test?
They're going to be similar stuff. All right. So you see how I can test your addition facts? Are those like terms? Well, then they have to be added, right? So now I can test your addition of fractions as well. What's 7/12 plus 1/3? Common denominator. What is it?
12.
So that's 7/12, and this one has to be 12. Did I get there? So the answer is
11/12.
11/12 x. Not x squared, because that would have to be x times x, right? It's just x.
You want the answer? That's simplifying, right?
Is there an answer to this? 11/12 x. That's simplified. Can you break it down anymore? Can you add, subtract, multiply, or divide it? I mean, yeah, you could take 11 divided by 12 on the calculator, but remember, you can leave things to subtract. So yes, I want you to take 7/12 plus 4/12, because that isn't simplified unless you do it, right? Okay. Number 2. We have 5/8 divided by 3/4 times x minus 1/2. And remember that this is a times. Parentheses setting next to each other with nothing in between is multiplication. So now I do what's inside parentheses first. How do you do 5/8 divided by 3/4? Copy the 5/8, and then into multiplication and flip this one. So it's 4/3. You should be reducing by now too. That's 1 and that's 2. So the answer is? So that's 5/6. And how do you simplify x minus 1/2? How do you simplify x minus a half? What's in parentheses? You can't do anything with it. It's an x and a half. X is a variable, half is a number, and you're subtracting. You keep it on by terms, right? You have to leave it like that. Now, what do they do? Now you distribute. So it's 5, 6x minus 5 plus. That's the binomial. Three. We have 8 plus times a half. Whoops, not done yet. Yes, times 10^4 times x plus 3 times x minus 7. All right, so you have to do what's in parentheses first. What do I have to do here? Sure you can. 5 times 2 is 10. I'm going to reduce that with the 10. And I'm going to reduce the 8 and the 4. So what do I end up with? 2. So this is all 2. If you take 8/5 times a half times 10 over, what was that?
4.
Over 4, you should get 80 over 40, which is 2. So you have 2 times x, so this is all 2x. That whole thing turns into 2x. And what do I do with that? 3 times x minus 7. Distribute. That's 3x minus 21. 2x plus 3x. 5x minus 21. I'm going to put 4 right here because it's nothing more than a simple multiplication. Alright, 0.75 times 0.03 is what? 0.0225, and x times x is? And that's all you have to do with that. 1/2 x plus 1/4 x divided by 3/8 x. Alright, what are you going to do with that? Common denominator and add that. What's common denominator? 4, so how much is a half? It's 2/4 x plus 1/4 x, which is what? Alright, so that's 3/4 x divided by? And if you have x over x, what happens to it? Okay, it cancels. So all you got left is 3/4 basically divided by 3/8. Rewrite it, copy, dot, flip it. And your answer is? Number 6. What are these things called?
Proportion.
When you have a fraction equal to a fraction? Proportion. How do you solve proportion? Cross multiply, right? 5 times 16 has to equal 24 times in. 5 times 16 is 80. It goes 24 times in, and then how do you solve for n? Divide by 24. And what is 80 divided by 24? 3 1/3. Or, yeah, 3.3 with 80. Seven. Still a proportion, so I cross multiply. 1.2 times 2 equals 7 times n. 1.2 times 2 is 2.4. And that's 7n, then you divide by 7. 2.4 divided by 7 is how much? 12/35. Or 0.34. And that 3/4 is some kind of decimal. Which is the better buy? We got 10 gallons, 327, and we got 20 gallons for 650. And then we're going to show how you did that. Well, you do a unit rate, right? To find out what is the best buy, you got to take it and unitize it. The best way to unitize this is to take the 327 divided by 10, which is $3.327 per 1 ounce. That's what you see in the store on the little tag. And then the other one, you take the 650, take the dollars divided by the gallons, and that gives you $0.325 per 1, which is the better buy. 0.325 per 1. 32 cents a gallon. That's how you do it. Okay, where's one more? You have A, B, C, and D. In A, I gave you the fraction 5/8. What's the decimal? How do you find the decimal given the fraction? Remember, a fraction means division. 5/8 means 5 divided by 8, which is 0.625. How do we change that to percent? Multiply by 100, move the decimal 2 places. 62.5%. The next one, I gave you the decimal was 0.55. How do you find the fraction given the decimal? Tell me what that is again. Don't tell me 0.3 either. 3/10. It's place value, right? So what is that? Tenths? 100. So that's 55 over 100, which you then reduce to 11/20. Remember, decimals are place value. And obviously then that would be 55%. So you just move it 2 places. Okay, then I gave you 10.2%. How do I get back to the decimal? Divide by 100, right? Always divide when you give them or move the decimal back 2 places, so 20.